It is now 10:33 right here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It's now time for us to bring to you WEFM's Shakeup program. Before we begin, our scripture reading this morning is taken from Matthew chapter 5, and I am reading verses 3 and 4. It says, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted." Shakeup is an interactive program held here, hosted on WEFM Mondays to Fridays from 10:30 in the morning. It is interactive, as I mentioned, so you can call to be a part of the program. In fact, you are encouraged to call and be a part of the program using the telephone number 457-9997. And with that number, you can get us on WhatsApp, and you can also get us on the landline. If you're calling from a digital phone, you can also get us on 532-9997. This morning's Shakeup program is being hosted by Mr. Augustine Ferdinand, and at this time, I will turn you over to the host.
Thank you very much, Dan. Good morning to you, and good morning to the listeners of WEFM. Greetings to those of you joining via Star and Garifuna Radio. Many of you who are also viewing us on social media, on Facebook. Also, many of you who are listening on the farm, in your home, driving to and from your destination this morning. I know it's a bit overcast on the outside. We are still within the hurricane season, and given the climate is rapidly changing around us, these are things we are to anticipate. As usual, it's Monday, and I am your host for today's Shakeup program. I also want to take this opportunity to send greetings to our Consul General in Canada, Mr. Fitzhuggins, also Mr. McIntosh in New York, my good friend and brother all the way in Oman, Mr. Darren Grant, and to the many students, the various universities, advanced tertiary institutions around the world as they are preparing to sit their exams in December, and of course trying to meet those deadlines in the month of November. But as usual, it's an interactive and get interactive with us is 457-9997. That's 457-9997. That's the number that you can call and get interactive with us here in the studio of WEFM. Now, I'm quite sure many persons journeying to Kingston this morning will see it in capital city Kingston. Two crucial vessels. Again, we are also in that season that runs up to April, and we continue to welcome more visitors to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. On Saturday, we saw the opening of Holiday Inn Express Hotel. And really and truly want to congratulate all those various stakeholders who were involved, from the contractor, the main contractor, to the workers, and also Ministry of Tourism, Invest SVG, and Minister Camilo Gonzalez, those of you who listened to the opening ceremony. It was dubbed that is his baby. And the reason why is that he was very instrumental from beginning to end. And he continuously checked in on the project. You'll say he was the project manager at one point because of the frequency of his visits. But that is his baby, among many other initiatives. But it's really a good thing, and I saw a lot of young faces in terms of the workers that makes up the. It's about 30 something of them makes up the staff of Holiday Inn Express, and it's 93 rooms. As a matter of fact, you heard that in terms of occupancy, it's also already booked. So you're looking at December, January period, and that speaks well. And we can only wish all the best from management and staff of it to the visitors who they will of course attract, and those who will stay at that particular hotel. You know, it takes a lot of vision to see something like this come true to reality. Those of you sitting listening to me, those of you who are driving, did you ever foresee in your lifespan that the diamond era of today, that it will have all these establishments? Did you foresee that? Did you imagine that this would be the case in the year 2024? Just sit and think about it. Those of you who normally drive on your way to Capital City, Kingston, on the windward side, those of you who live in Diamond and surrounding area, did you ever foresee that within your lifetime that you will see that Diamond locale be transformed in the manner it is now? Because before, and I mentioned it last week, but I'll mention it again, 5, 6, 10 years ago, that area was like a pasha. As a matter of fact, I used to frequent that area around 2014, 2015, a lot. So even then, so 10 years ago, that area was pasture. Was a lot of dirt, a lot of grass. Persons stay out there, the goat and the sheep, cattle. Used to sometimes have racing there. But that area today, that area that was once a lot of grass or pasture to feed animals. Some persons around Easter time, you see a lot of persons go there and fly kite. That area today has turned into one that is seeing a lot of commercial activity. January and February soon upon us. I can guarantee that, as usual, with school sports, that area once again will be seeing heavy traffic because of the numerous sporting events that will be held at the Sovereign Beach Stadium. And I remember when the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines said it is going to build a stadium, Some persons thought it was a joke. There are those who were skeptical. It can't be done. And when construction started, there are those who then say, well, that's just a track. You come tell me stadium is a track. But then, as the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines promised, it will be built out in phases, 5 phases. Just as you with your homes. Sometimes you don't have all the money at once, but it ain't stopping you from building something. Not so? You may have a vision of a wonderful 3-story house. But whether the money you have in cash from all the work that you've done or business, or whether from a loan, because you may not want to take out a full mortgage. And what you do, you ain't start piece. Eh? Division is a wonderful 3-story house. Long term for rent, you live on the top floor, you rent out the rest 2 floors. But you start off with a what? A ground floor. Or what we call the downstairs. 1 or 2 bedrooms. And as time go by, you go up. You put on the upstairs. Put in 2-3 more rooms. So now we have a 5-bedroom, upstairs, downstairs. And then you say, you know what, I will live on the upstairs and rent out the downstairs, and the money accumulate over time, plus some other monies you get, plus maybe another loan that you may take. You put on the top floor. Now you have your 3-story house. It's the same with the stadium. You start off with the track, the football field in the middle, and then you build out. So now you have the stands, and we have more stands to build out. You go there, you're seeing the building, the administrative building, and then you just add. And next thing you know, you see the parking, and then you see the completed stadium. I'm quite sure you can relate with that. So some will say, but wait, this stadium, it's been delivered before your very eyes. And the sporting professionals, the coaches, the athletes, they are more than happy. I'm not sure how many of you remember, but we had persons from Barbados who came to that site and trained for Carifta Games. They trained there and they spoke well of the facility. You heard of record-breaking times. Again, because of the track. It's a wonderful track. The area, while sun may hot, a lot of wind also blow in that area. And that's the vision being laid out before you. So, it is being delivered. And then across the road, you have, well, I don't even know if to call them low-income homes anymore. Some of us may forget that too, of how this Unity Labour Party government transformed and is continuing to transform that diamond era. Because we also built the diamond low-income homes. But I'm quite sure many of you listening Those of you who are also familiar with that area, when you look at those homes today, similar to the homes the government built at Peter's Hope, I won't really call them low-income homes anymore. Those look to me more like middle-income and high-income homes. As a matter of fact, you would think that Peter's Hope is a gated community. I kid you not. By the time where the bus stop is at Peter's Hope and drive up, you will swear you are entering a gated community. Those homes are of top class. But it is this Unity Labour Party government that built those homes. And across those homes, you have the stadium, you have National Properties Building headquarters, you have Holiday Inn Express, you have the Hospitality Institute, you have Diamond Grocery, you have Couriers Distributions, you have Pitmaster, you have Ace, Couriers again, with the pharmacy. You have automated teller machine services there as well. You have Randy Supermarket. You have the Lumber Yard. And you have Maya Luxury Suites. All these establishments that I speak of this morning to you, all of them happen under this government. That area that was pasture, grass, derelict building is now transformed, creating jobs, adding value to the economy, and making sure attracting more business. And in terms of the hotel, where more visitors can come here to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And while I say this to you, there are those out there, even those who drive past that area on a daily basis, that will try to convince you and tell you that, one, the country has regressed under the government, or two, that the government can transform the country for the better, or three, worst case, sometimes you hear from Dougie DeFreitas and others that the economy is bankrupt. Now, I don't know. Now, maybe you can help me. If the economy is bankrupt under the government, then how on earth these business people out there would have to be crazy people to have business expansion under a bankrupt economy? Something got to be wrong. And I receive a message here, and this is true too. That area used to be called a cattle pen, because reality, like I said, it was a pasture. It was a pasture. But that area today, ladies and gentlemen, adding jobs to the economy, attracting commercial business, and visitors to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. That diamond era. And all of those happen under this government, because the Unity Labour Party government has created the enabling environment in order for businesses to thrive and to grow and to invest in the economy of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Diamond era, that locale, that was once partial, that was once dubbed as a cattle pen, You see on a regular basis, the students from the Division of Technical Vocational Education, they go to the Hospitality Institute to learn, to enhance their skill, cooking skills, bartending skills, to work in the hospitality sector. And because of that, I can tell you this, the same Diamond Grocery, they prepare meals on a daily basis to sell to the very students who will be looking to get the lunch. And other people in the area, workers. The same stadium, like I said, come January, February, they're going to have a lot of activity out there. And as we continue to build out with the administrative building and with more stands, and then the parking area, you can have football tournaments, and even the lighting, because it will be lighted. That is being done by the Unity Labour Party government. And with Holiday Inn Express, where you'll have more guests, more visitors to St. Vincent and Grenadines, that means more business for who? For the taxi man, for the tour operator, for the farmer, because they're going to need a lot of vegetables. They're going to need the lettuce, the tomato, the cucumber, the squash, the eggplant. They're going to need them. They're going to need citrus, fruits, five finger, etc. They're going to need them. The fish of fork. They're going to need them. Shellfish and the like. They're going to need them. It means more business for those persons. And then it means more marketing for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And I was just reminded, because the project is more or less completed, the particular house, those of you who know the area, that had the staff for NH consultant, that building will then be reconfigured into a police station. That is important. You have couriers distribution, persons are employed, wholesale business. You have the pharmacy, an ATM machine, so you no longer have to wait till you reach Calico or Kingston to get money. You have Randy Supermarket, and you have another hotel, suite with restaurant and bar. It shows, ladies and gentlemen, that labor is working. Not so? It shows that labor is working. And there are more stories like that. They can go to Georgetown. Georgetown, yes, was dubbed as the sugar city. When they had the sugar factory, Georgetown was very much alive. Obviously, you have a lot of workers. And where you have a factory like that, you're going to have more activity, more commercial business. When the factory was closed down, they then dub it into as a ghost town. Because now, obviously, the thing that pumped life into Georgetown, suddenly, no more. And what that meant, not just the workers that moved out of Georgetown, but other people too. It took this government to try and inject life again into Georgetown. Now, what you have today in Georgetown, I would call it a thriving medical industry, because it's not just the modern medical diagnostic center, you know. You have other private healthcare that is taking place up there. And what that does, it creates demand for apartments. Because, like I said, you have persons who actually come to St. Vincent and Grenadines to access the health services offered at Modern Medical Diagnostic Center, because they have chemotherapy, kidney dialysis, oncology services. And they're dirty cheap. They're affordable. Because what may be cheap for some may not be cheap for others, but they're quite affordable compared to the actual market price. And therefore, you have now the demand for apartments and more commercial businesses in Georgetown and surrounding areas. So you have the transformation in Georgetown. You have the transformation in Diamond, that area that was once pasture, grass, cattle pen. Now you have a hotel, you have Couriers Distribution, you have Couriers Pharmacy, you have the Lumber Yard, you have National Properties, you have the Hospitality Institute, you have Maya Luxury Suites, you have ATM service there. That area that was once pasture is now a commercial area. And of course, you have the stadium continuing to build out. And then we venture from there into Kalekwa. One of the things as a student, when you learn that St. Vincent has 6 towns, next question you ask, what made them a town? And you look for certain things that will, resemble a town. And Kalekwa is one of those towns where you see a lot of those services. But it's now 1 minute past the hour of 11 o'clock. So we'll take a commercial break and continue with the discussion.
The flavor nice, it's locally made. Affordable price, Lord, up to $3 retail. When you see we line it, with the red and white case, show me what you like it. It's cigarette from Empire. Holdings Limited, it's cigarette from Empire. Holdings Limited, with over 60 years experience. Hold the best tobacco, best ingredients. Yeah. This is your boy Lou to say, support local, buy your cigarettes from Empire Holdings Limited. 10 cigarettes in a pack for up to $3 retail. Remember, smoking is not for minors.
Ready, set, serve. Singer, your favorite family store is now online. Log on today at www.singersvg.com and enjoy our store and products right at your fingertips. Now online are your trusted brands that you have come to love. Refrigerators to chest freezers, gas cookers to toasters, air fryers, mattresses, living room sets, and so much more. Browse our products, check the specs, compare brands and prices, and request parts all online. We have also made bill payments easier, more convenient, and simpler just for you. Log on to www.singersvg.com to learn more. Singer, your family company is keeping up with you and the times. Visit our website today and experience a whole new world of Singer, your trusted online family company.
For over 20 years, Cubano Limited professionally delivers top quality products and exceptional service. Located in Sand Hill and Kingstown, we are open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and on Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. We supply animal feed, dog and cat food, animal supplements, a wide range of floral supplies, nursery pots, ground cover and shade cloth, and much more. We also stock a wide range of motor vehicle supplies, including automotive oils, filters for all vehicles, engine coolants, and much more. Email us today at cubano_1@hotmail.com or call us today 451-2911 or 493-7175. Cubano Limited, professional, top quality, and exceptional service.
Whether you're ripping it up on the highway or taking a casual Sunday drive, OT Tire Limited is second to none when delivering excellence at reasonable prices. We offer new and used tires, tire repair and installation. We are the only place that offers nitrogen, which helps with gas consumption and ride comfort. Supplying you with brand name tires like Maxxis, Kumo, Good Ride, Westlake, and Triangle.
Boom! Enjoy the VIP style customer waiting lounge with refreshments and free Wi-Fi. You know what I'm saying, yo? This is Skinny Fabulous, and when it comes to tires, nobody makes it easier than OT. Got me on the road. When me OT car tire.
Follow OT Tire on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter today.
Hey, boom, run the road. With OT tires.
99.9 WEFM.
So yes, we are back in studio of WEFM, and I am your host, Augustine Ferdinand. Remember the number to call, 457-9997 to get interactive with the program. That's 457-9997 to get interactive with the program. So yes, talking about transformation and change and why labor is working. These eras, in particular diamond era, many of you may not even fathom or envision that what it is today and is becoming, in your mind, you more than likely didn't expect that this would happen in your lifetime. Because like I said, that era was a pasture. Some dubbed it as a cattle pen, because that is what that era was about. You had a lot of cattle roaming the place. You had a lot of grass, obviously. Cattle, goat. But that diamond era is another story added. Positive story added under this government. Let's say we have a call coming in. Good morning, caller. Welcome to Shakeup.
Morning, Mr. Ferdinand.
Yes, good morning.
Yes, sir. Just want to remind you, one, the amount of
Speak up a bit. I don't know. There's a bit of interference, but speak up a bit clearer for us.
I was saying the amount of employment that was created at the diamond that a lot.
It seems to have some.
Hello?
Try call back again. I don't know. There may be an interference on your side, more than likely, because we're not hearing you clearly. I don't know. I think maybe the caller was talking though about diamond dairy. I don't know if I don't think many young persons may know of diamond dairy, but in here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and I'm glad he brought it up. We had many factories. I kid you not, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, yes, we had many factories. I spoke earlier of sugar factory in Georgetown, but we also had more or less a diamond dairy factory here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And that, okay, I think the caller calling back. So yes, caller.
You hearing me play now?
Yes. Much better.
Okay, I was saying the amount of employment that was created at the diamond area out there for the past years.
Oh.
It's been going on for a couple of years ago. Because you remember when that place they used to have cattle and eating in them all the years. So a lot of employment has taken place there over the years.
Indeed.
And number, I don't know if you have any information as to, I remember earlier this year where Minister Agriculture in that they were supposed to plant some Irish potatoes around the country. I don't know if anything has happened. have Matthew and they have reached them out the case. Do you have the information?
Okay, I know they started it, but I don't know to the extent in terms of the growth or production of it. But I know they started.
Yes, and in the earlier years, there was supposed to be a biscuit factory under the NDP out at the same diamond area. But over the years, we haven't seen any biscuit factory. This was just wild.
Maybe what happened today is what happened to the $100 million that was promised to build the international airport on the NDP too.
I believe so. We have to say congratulations to the Labour Party government for taking the initiative to develop that area like that.
Yes, man.
It's a waste piece of land over the years. In progress.
Yes, man.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your contribution. Yeah, there's a lot of jobs. I mean, when you talk about Curry's distribution and Diamond Grocery, and you have the Curry's Pharmacy and the like. I mean, you're talking about significant amount of jobs, including Maya Luxury Suites, added in that era that has transformed that pasture. And then you talk of Georgetown, Diamond, Kalakwa. Kalakwa has the rainforest seafood. It has automated telemachine service. It has a lot of retail businesses. You have SVG Foods, which is also wholesale. You have, I know when I say wholesale, I'm talking about meats in particular, different kind. You have automotive retail business as well, including tires and vehicle parts. You have boat repair. You have body tailing and detail in terms of vehicles. So Kalakwa continues to build out as a town, and where more jobs are also added in that local. And obviously we have the temporary parliament building. And then you venture into Arnersville. And Arnersville, under this government, has transformed significantly because it was highly residential. Yes, we had E.T. Joshua Airport then, but it was highly residential. But today, Arnersville has a lot of businesses in health, in automotive, food. You have telecom. In telecom, you have even in terms of animals, an animal hospital, restaurants and bars. You have, of course, the upgrade recently to Arnersville Stadium with the electronic scoreboard and lighting. And we've seen, even with the decommissioned site, the airport site, and what National Properties did with the Joshua, the then building, the Joshua building into now Joshua Mall. There's significant transformation. Massey and KFC and Flow. Significant transformation at Arnersville. But yet, again, some will try to convince you that there's not been any transformation under this government. As a matter of fact, I remember the leader of the opposition said that, well, we need to return, and this is his words. He said, we need to return to the good old days of the NDP. And when you check it out, those days where persons use a lot of pit latrine. Those days where there are those who didn't have connectivity to the grid in significant numbers, that even when you check the census actually check how many persons also used to buy kerosene, because that is what it used to buy to provide lighting so that you can see in the dark. Kid you not. Those were the days. The days when you wake up and you drink dry bread. Well, you eat dry bread and drink water. You know, the interesting thing, sugar water. That was tea. Dry bread, sugar water, or juice. Or, better yet, if you have some body meal outside or favor grass outside, you drink that for tea. That was the norm, you know. Let us talk real today. I don't think across the length and breadth of St. Vincent and Grenadines, yes, there are pockets of poverty. There's no doubt about that. But I don't think across the country, generally speaking, that many persons eat dry bread and drink fever grass or sugar water on a morning. I don't think that is the norm across the country. Yes, like I said, you'll have pockets of poverty here and there. And even they too, with things going these days, they might not even see themselves drinking sugar water. But that was the norm. The norm where, and I see we have another call coming in. Let's take the call. Good morning, call. Welcome to Shakeup.
Good morning, Cody.
Yes, good morning.
You mentioned a word there just now, census.
Yes.
I am checking to see if that process is completed.
It should be by next year.
Oh, by next year?
Yeah. In terms of the documentation, because they did a lot of data collection for this year. I know that.
Oh, so it's still in process?
Yes. Yes.
No, because I'm living in a village here where no one has ever visited.
What village is that?
This is Dorsetshire Hill.
Okay.
And you have about 7-8 houses in the area here, and no one has ever checked.
That's interesting. Okay.
All right.
But yeah, I know across the country, even in Lomond's era, sometimes what may happen is that, and I remember I brought this to the attention of someone in terms of the time. Is it better to go when you anticipate people will be home, especially in the evening? Sometimes they go during the day where persons at work or doing something else. But today, and this has driven the demand, because even then too, I don't know how often I see school children now with lunch kit. It is very rare, or you hardly see a lot of school children, those who are going to school, primary and secondary school, walking with lunch kits. I don't know if it's me or my observation is wrong, but I hardly see many school children with lunch kit. What I do see, mind you, is that around lunchtime, a lot of them going Subway and Bickles. I do see that. And it gives you an idea as to what is happening, because in the past, your bucket show, even if you didn't want it, you get in what is in your lunch kit and you better eat it. But today, the generation and things are a bit different, So that tells you, when you hear the leader of the opposition say, well, we need to go back to the good old days, I don't think any one of us, and those of you listening, those of you sitting listening to me, or driving listening, do you want to go back to those days of sugar water and kerosene oil and pit latrine? Yeah? You want to go back to those days? I don't think anyone in their right mind would want to. If he wants to go back, it's his business. But the country won't be going back with him. But let's take this call. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, my brother.
Greetings. Good morning.
Morning. I just want to give a little contribution to the discussion.
Yes.
Mainly with regard to development. And pardon me a little bit if I divert, but I was born in Georgetown. My two sisters after me born in Georgetown too.
But the other thing I didn't mention, now you said that it used to be known as Bronxtown.
Yeah, Sugar City.
Yes, Bronxtown. Yes.
Right. My father, who at one point was chief agricultural officer, at the time when I was born, my sisters too, he was in charge of the sugar estate there in Monbentic, right? And at that time, we were doing real good. Georgetown was rivaling Kingston as far as development is concerned, right? And, financial stuff like that. No more, right? NDP came into power and got rid of Monbentic Sugar Factory. This is the argument. We can buy, as what Mitchell said, we can buy sugar from Guyana for less money than it can take to produce it in St. Vincent. A fact, right? But look at this. Let me give you an example. Now, don't take my figures as gospel. I'm just giving you an example. Let us say we could have bought sugar from Guyana. We, Vincentians, could buy sugar for $1 a pound. Let us say that, right? But when we produce it, you pay $1.25. So his point is, let us pay $1 a pound rather than pay $1.25. That's his argument. And it kind of makes sense on the surface, but not really. Because here's what happens when you do that.
The economic impact.
Exactly. Your $1 pound is foreign exchange. You're sending from things out the country, money leaving the country. $1 pound. If you produce the sugar in St. Vincent, yes, you pay 25 cents a pound more, but you keep the money in the country, right? You provide more jobs to the people in the country, truckers and everybody else who work there. You have more employment. So Mitchell and NDP decide to get rid of sugar, right? That caused a problem for us financially. No, I'm not going to go into
and Horace, I am glad because I looked into it too. I remember some persons also said that, and I think I spoke with this at length with Sovin Subich when he was alive. The talk was then that it wasn't making a profit, which if one research well, it was making some money.
Yes.
It was making money.
Yes. Right. But they didn't stop there. NDP went on to close down the Diamond Dairy.
Yep.
I mean, look, if we go to each one, look at all the factories in Cannon Park, which they closed down as well. I mean, they so much.
And don't forget, we also had. This is why I tell people you have to do the research. We also had the coconut oil factory. The last thing I remember this very well, and that was the one this government could have did revive. Arrowroot, because that too they basically were almost looking to kill off.
Exactly. And I heard Buns Bonnet on the radio, which I know as a fact, reminding people what happened with Arrowroot when we found markets for Arrowroot and everything else. Now we know that Arrowroot had a struggle to exist because of other countries in South America mainly, which can produce Arrowroot in many times more than us, because they're much bigger countries. But we did all that route too. They closed it down. And so when we talk about the good old days, there's a fancy story to tell us. All right? My brother, let me go and ask somebody that's calling. Take care.
Thank you, man. Thank you for your solid contribution to the discussion. The industry from the point is the same thing. We're talking about transformation, change, and development. And I'm happy he called in because, look, if I said it to him, it's usual, it's Ferdinand talking. But there's the facts. I remember, like I said, I did this for study and research, even when I was also looking at bananas, the decline of it from 1991 onwards. And I said to myself, because a lot of persons talk about unemployment and some of these social ills that we have in our society. But picture this. When you continuously over a period of time because it was systematically done. Close down one factory to the next. What are you doing? What are you doing? And then we were surprised when you had indigent poverty over 30% and people going to the hills, engaging the black market economy. And then, you know, it even got worse because one may say, well, okay, you therefore now would be able to re-educate or educate people. It makes it even worse because only 4 out of 10 went to secondary school. So you have people who become unemployed. You have those who revert to the black market. You have a total cease of real economic activity in particular locales in the country, including Georgetown. That is a recipe for real decay. And that is why some persons said that the NDP, when they were voted out of office, that we basically had to revive the country. I want to ask a question here, and that is why I said the one thing that we try to save, is our route. Because that was the last one. I went up save it. Now, because of the time frame, and obviously where you had an event St. Kitts, you had Kitts, then Guyana, Barbados. We then couldn't go back and say we were going to start sugar again. You had other competitors in the market. Come on. But here we are. We say, okay, in order to build the economy, yes, we have our route, etc. The different sectors we now have to build with tourism. And this is another way we have to think of things, because I hear some persons talk about exports. And one of the main reasons why you export is to try and get foreign exchange. But tourism also helps you get foreign exchange. And therefore, the more persons you can attract to the country is the more foreign exchange you can get. And you have the exportation of other things, including coconut and root crops. You have export of cattle or livestock out of St. Vincent and Grenadines. You have the exportation of seafood because of the different fishery centers we have, including rainforests. So we are building, with tourism also being a major part of that, in fueling the demand. And once demand continues to grow, it therefore means that those in the productive sectors, agriculture, in fisheries and the like, have to increase their supply. And we are seeing across the country, we talk about Georgetown, spoke of Calaqua, Arnesville, and even Bokoment. Bokoment too is transforming before our eyes, and you will have more and more businesses, not just Sicky Graves and Couriers. You have Matiba, you have Buccaneers and the like. But you will see as time go by, that area as well become almost like a town. And so too with Marriott on board Mount Twin also. We'll see that. This is where the Unity Labour Party government over the many years with vision, strategy, sound policies has enabled the economy to not just grow by leaps despite the challenges, but also to transform many parts of the country. And, I will tell you this. While we continue to build out with the transformation, the opposition in the country oppose some of the other initiatives that we want to engage in to further build out the economy. But it's now 11:30 here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So we'll take a short commercial break again and then continue this discussion.
The flavor nice, it's locally made. Affordable price, Lord, up to $3 retail. When you see we line it, with the red and white case, show me what you like. It's cigarette from Empire, Holdings Limited. It's cigarette from Empire, Holdings Limited. With over 60 years experience. Oh, the best tobacco, best ingredients. Yeah. This is your boy Luther say, support local, buy your cigarettes from Empire Holdings Limited. 10 cigarettes in a pack for up to $3 retail. Remember, smoking is not for minors.
Lynch Caribbean Brokers is here to innovate how your insurance works for you. Here to design and deliver insurance solutions, proven solutions tailored to your business. Solutions from our global network of insurance experts, which all comes with an indigenous Vinci touch of excellence. We're more than just insurance brokers, SVG. We're your trusted risk advisors. Lynch Caribbean always has your back. Contact us today for insurance solutions, strategic risk advisory, and more. Call 453-3300, email info@lynchcaribbean.com, or visit our office at Beachmont, Kingstown.
Christmas in this year.
Can I have this? We have an extra $400 from Flow. You can have everything you
More
want.
gifts with Flow. With Christmas in, win weekly prices up to 10,000 in cash. Sign up for a postpaid bundle or a broadband plan.
We Christmas in with free groceries from Flow. Plus, a chance to win weekly prizes and up to $10,000 cash. Head over to your nearest Flow store or visit discoverflow.co. Flow, we Christmasing.
More gifts with Flow.
It's that special time of the year again. Paramedics now has all your needs for the season. We have the best in window and kitchen curtains, king, queen, and full-size in comforters and bed sheets, bathroom mattresses, bathroom towels, kitchen appliances, microwaves, ninja blenders, juicers, and toasters. Check also for your laundry detergent and fabric softeners, Victoria's Secret and Bath & Beyond creams and splashes. We carry pots, frying pans, dinner plates, teacups, and so much more. Shop early at Paramedics this Christmas to avoid the rush. The management and staff thank you for your support throughout 2024 and wish you a bright and prosperous 2025. Call us at 451-2763 or WhatsApp us at 531-9119.
99.9 WEFM.
So yes, we are back in studio of WEFM. I am your host, Augustine Ferdinand. Let me see, we have any WhatsApp? Okay, other than, okay. All right. So yes, we are back in studio of WEFM. I am your host, Augustine Ferdinand. Remember the number to call, 457-9997. That's 457-9997. That's the number that you can call and get interactive with us on the program. Now, we talk about transformation, change in the economy, the policies of the government that is affecting this transformation and change. And it shows that labor is working for the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Despite, as usual, the many challenges, climate-related events, eruptions of Lasso Fray, despite all of that, economic crisis 2008 to 2011, despite all of that, we have seen tremendous strides and progress. As I said, there are many of you listening. You know someone who received a scholarship. You know someone who received a low-income hope. You know someone who never dreamt in their entire life that they'll even go to college, much less to university. Where was once bush is now a commercial area. But you know, as we continue with the transformation, as we continue with the positive change, and as we have more programs and policies to build out and expand our economy and provide jobs in this country, the opposition, as usual, are skeptics. And right here in Kingston, you have the build out of the modern port. Like I said this morning, there are 2 cruise ships in harbor. And someone asked the question, why we see in places like Antigua St. Kitts more cruise arrivals than we do. I said simply, we don't have the capacity to accommodate larger ships and more ships as they do. And I found it funny because the person who asked that question is a member of NDP's youth arm. But I don't know whether he doesn't know. As a matter of fact, it's even more funny because he belongs to Cummins youth arm. And I don't know if he doesn't know that his own rep criticized the expansion of the cruise ship terminal, which, by the way, will help us to accommodate larger and more vessels. And you even have Bramble as well, who criticized the building of a modern port. That modern port where we see, again, a lot of young persons who are working. And even those who didn't learn general construction but are willing to learn because of the transfer of skills and knowledge while being on that project, they will be able to work elsewhere in other projects. And despite the jobs and the economic impact that the port project will have, because where you have a port, whether airport or seaport, it's a gateway in and out of your country. But Bukit Show, because of the amount of workers on a port, you're going to have other businesses around that area pop up. Because the closer you are to a port, also it helps lower your transportation costs in terms of goods as well. But yet, there are those in the NDP who oppose the building of a modern port.
With debt to GDP, because traditionally economics will tell you that you want to have it, I think, about 70%.
And you'll hear even Bramble, who is supposed to be an economist, he himself talks about the port and whether we should have looked at something else. I wanted to listen.
60%, we want it, right? 60%. But some of the developed countries, what we should be looking at, I think, is comparatively to how we're doing compared to our neighbors who have a similar size and similar type economy to us, right? Agreed. That's why I like the idea of comparing us to the OECS region. How are we doing there relative to them? Agreed. Right? Well, can we do better?
I'll tell you this though, Stephen, but our debt to GDP ratio is the highest in the OECS. So that is the short answer to what you just said. But you're right. I mean, and it all depends on why are you incurring debt? Why are you borrowing money? If you're going to borrow money, like for example, we have a new port that they're going to build. It's going to cost us more than $500 million. And my question is, how is this port going to contribute to the development of our country?
Well, first of all, if anyone looks, we don't have the highest debt in the region, much less debt to GDP in the region. So that is false. But he asked the question, how is it going to contribute? And as I said, anywhere you have a port, and the port is the gateway in and out of a country, and what we are building there increases the capacity for exports as well. And once you have that increase in capacity, and it helps with improving the efficiency in terms of the services offered by the Port Authority, and given the digital transformation project as well, incorporated into it, it means that you, especially those of you who import or even export, that you have to therefore now, you take less time in filling out certain documents or signing of documents or clearing items at the port because of that digital transformation aspect of it, where you no longer have to line up and wait however long to clear something or to send something. But more than that, with the increased capacity in terms of what can now be held on the port itself, it gives an opportunity for our local suppliers to increase their capacity. Because we do export things out of St. Vincent and Grenadines, despite how we hear the opposition go on. We export livestock, we export root crops, we export, you have GOCD export things, you have ECGCD export things. You also have, not ECG, you have bottlers, sorry, who export things also in terms of Kingston. You have other farmers that export products out of the country, seasonings also. So there are different things exported out of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So it increases the capacity for them to produce more, to export more out of the country. And not just the port, because like I said, the idea in the building of the modern port is so that once the port is relocated, we'll have the opportunity where the current port is at Upper Bay Street to convert that entire area to have touristic shops, an artistic and cultural center, boutiques, and more than 2 and 3 cruise ships. Just picture coming into capital city Kingston. Whether from Cane Garden area or Richmond Hill area, or those of you staying at Rockies, etc. Those of you coming down Gun Hill and Gibson Corner, picture coming into capital city Kingston and see 3 and 4 cruise ships in harbor. Just picture it. Or see 3 mega ships in harbor, where each of them have more than 10,000 visitors. You're talking about 30,000 in one day. Picture that. And picture the positive impact that will have on our local economy for a taxi driver, a tour operator, a tourism vendor, those who are into crafts, for example. You have new business where they have these up at cruise ship berth where you hover through the city. Business for them, because you will have some tourists who may not want to walk, but they prefer to use those things to carry them. Think of more business for them, even wrong tongue taxi. Just picture that. Coming into capital city Kingston. And because of the vision of the Unity Labour Party, and you know this is a party that gets things done. This is a government that gets things done. No matter how big it is, no matter how challenging it may seem, just as AIA, just as Rabaka Bridge, and just as the build out of a new city. And the modern port that is being built to be completed next year, mid-June. Picture that. After the expansion of the cruise ship pier, where you have 3 mega ships in capital city Kingston, carrying 10,000 visitors each. That's 30,000 visitors in one day. Picture the economic impact that will have on our economy. And Just as with the vision for that, we are building the acute care hospital, which is the centerpiece of the build out of the modern city. And the idea, because as you anticipate with more development in Arnersville, as you anticipate more development and business in Capital City Kingston, as you anticipate the arrival of more car boat coming to the country and bringing 100 and something vehicles per month, obviously, you can anticipate more traffic. Therefore, we have to look at alternatives. And one of the idea is the exploration of a tunnel under Cane Garden. But you know, again, despite the vision and the plan for that, you have Leacock who talk against the tunnel and his leader who also talk against the tunnel. Despite the anticipation, you know, because with all these developments, you have a hospital. You're going to have a mega hospital at Arnersville. Arnersville, in and of itself, is a business area, highly commercial. They're going to have a modern port in Kingston. Bucket Show businesses also will expand in Kingston. Car boating will stop come St. Vincent. I could tell you that. You think car boat going to stop come? Oh no. As more people make money, as more business, people are also going to demand more vehicles. So you can anticipate more traffic. And therefore, we have no choice but to explore alternatives. Now, there are two different approaches. The Unity Labour Party is saying, let's explore the building of a tunnel, and of course, we continue to increase our road network. The opposition, on the other hand, believes that in order to alleviate the traffic issue, congestion, we should, what do you put it in his words? We should, what? Build more apartments, something, so let more people come to the capital, to Kingston to live, something of the sort. I kid you not, this is what the leader of the opposition said. And I want to play it for you. Ferdinand, you're just saying so, man. I believe you one bit. You're just saying so. I want you to listen to the leader of the opposition yourself.
Build something. They put a mock-up and say you're going to build a city in Arnersville. Where you ever hear of a government build a city? I mean, that's just building infrastructure. Nonsense. And you're going to put a tunnel through Cane Garden. You don't believe that? On the King, eh? You don't believe that can happen? Well, I hope not. You know, I mean, why not?
Now, this is the part that irks me most. It's one thing to say you don't believe it can happen. But here you have the opposition leader of this country who wants, by the way, to be prime minister. We're saying he hopes it cannot happen. You can imagine that? So it's not a situation where, boy, I don't see this thing could happen at all. He is hoping that we can't build a tunnel under Cane Garden. As I said, ladies and gentlemen, we can anticipate. And he said, wherever you hear government building a city, anybody can resort Silica City, Guyana. The government is building out a city in Guyana. We've seen elsewhere, even in Korea and elsewhere, government build out cities. Even Kingston in Jamaica. We're talking foolishness about where you hear government building a city. But anyways, before I go on a tangent, he said he's hoping that the government cannot build a tunnel under Cane Garden. You can imagine that? We already see the traffic situation now. And the hospital in Arnersville ain't finished build yet. Just imagine when they're complete. Just imagine when modern port in Kingston is completed. We're going to have the Hall of Justice adjacent to Cocoa Company or along the stretch where the National Archives and Public Libraries. More businesses will surely be established in capital city Kingston, but he's hoping that the government won't be able to build a tunnel under Cane Garden to alleviate the traffic congestion, where it is anticipated, no matter what, with more businesses and more people importing vehicles, they're going to have that. I want you to listen for yourself, the man who wants you to make him prime minister and how he thinks.
The mock-up and say you're going to build a city in Annisville. Where you ever hear of a government build a city? I mean, that's just build infrastructure. Nonsense. And you're going to put a tunnel through King Garden. You don't believe that? On the King, eh? You don't believe that can happen? Well, I hope not. You know?
You hear? What Bing asked him? What Bing asked him? Bing say, you don't believe that can happen? And what he said? I hope not. I hope it can happen. I tell you, that is the leader of the opposition. Ladies and gentlemen, think long and hard, however long you want, about that response. And sometimes I know some persons are vexed when, when persons like myself and others say the NDP don't want nothing good for this country. But I ask you this question. Hearing his response there, you really think he wants anything good for St. Vincent? We know this traffic issue is going to get worse. Bucket show, more businesses, etc. It will get worse. People are going to continue to import as they are doing. But he's saying he hope it won't happen. But, and this is the sweet part now. So he is rubbishing building a tunnel, increasing road network and another access in and out of Kingston. He's rubbishing that, huh? He's hoping it can happen. But I wanted to hear the genius idea of the leader of the opposition. Listen to this.
I mean, why not? Because it's not practical. So what would be the point of the matter is
your plan to deal with the traffic situation going to Kingston? Your alternative plan.
Yes, you have to improve the traffic in Kingston. This is just one example of a small thing that can be done that doesn't even require building a road. We need to have more people living in Kingston. That is going to do two things.
Kingston is congested already.
Kingston is not congested if you use the space properly. You need to have more people living in Kingston, just for the health of the city.
Oh, Lord. Ladies and gentlemen, those of you listening, does that make sense? Again, you could take however long you want to know. Yeah, take however long you want. Dissect it. Split it however pieces you want to. Does that make sense? The government that is working, the Labour government, is saying, look, we anticipate that as the economy grows, as more businesses pop up in Kingston, as we have a new modern port, as we're going to have more tourists and visitors in the country, as they have the acute care hospital and more people also venturing into Annisville, Bucket Show, and as more people import, we need to have an alternative going in and out of Kingston. And that is through a tunnel. What did the leader of the opposition say? Get more people coming Kingston. Notice someone was trying to call. You can call back 457-9997. 457-9997 to interact with us. Okay, the caller coming in. Greetings, caller.
Yeah, hold on, wait, just let me tune something down here. Mr. Ferdinand, obviously, Mr. Dr. Friday does not remember, or he probably wasn't even born, I don't know, when Kingston was a heavily congested residential area. And I mean heavily congested. Every street had houses. Everybody lived in Kingstown. But then it will develop business-wise, and till the noise and the smallness of the place. Nobody in Kingston that lived there could find any time to rest or sleep or anything because the noise was constantly there as the town developed. That is when people moved out of Kingston, you know. Every man Jack who lived all along Back Street, Bay Street, they just moved and went in further into the countryside. You don't remember those times. No, you couldn't have been born then.
But it makes logical sense. As a matter of fact, you find that happening now in highly urbanized centers in metropolitan countries, where more people are yearning to move out of the cities.
Get the France out of the noise. I could still see them. I could still see all the families in Kingston. They used to be there in the evening, catching breeze and everything, talking to the neighbors, everything. And then all of a sudden, you just saw them going out, and nobody was there. Just businesses alone remained. I remember it very, very well. Thank you. As a matter of fact, I'm still living in Kingston. Sometimes I wonder about it. But the noise, for some reason, don't get past that gospel hall place there. So that's why we are still there in parts of Kingston living. All right then.
Thank you very much for your contribution. Yeah.
So you're going to build a city in Annisville. Where you ever hear of a government build a city? I mean, that's just building construction nonsense. And you're going to put a tunnel through King Garden. You don't believe that? On the King, You don't believe that can happen? Well, I hope not. I mean, why not? Because it's not practical. So what would be the point of the matter is your plan to deal with the traffic situation going to Kingston? Your alternative plan? Yes, you have to improve the traffic in Kingston. I'll give you, this is just one example of a small thing that can be done that doesn't even require building a road. We need to have more people living in Kingston. That is going to do two things. Kingston is congested already. Kingstown is not congested if you use the space properly. You need to have more people living in Kingstown, just for the health of the city.
Yeah, that just for the health of the city. Somebody should make a song about that. Just for the health of the city, man. Yeah, just for the health of the city. Yeah, more people live in Kingstown. You really and truly going to consider making this individual Prime Minister? After hearing that? No, man. No. Don't talk. But, like I said, Labour is working. And recently, we saw the distribution of 2,000 tuition scholarships. I think we have a call coming in. Good morning, caller.
Hello?
Yes, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. The last time I heard foolish talk like that coming from Mr. Fred is when I used to listen to the Three Stooges.
When you listen to the who? Hello? Hold on. I really don't want to believe the last. I don't think maybe I misheard. He said something about Three Stooges, I think. Oh man. But yeah. So, the Labour government that is working for you distributed 2,000 or approved 2,000 tuition scholarships. Also, recently we saw at the Independence Rally, the national scholars received their awards. Labour is working. More persons going off to university, more persons going off to college. Now it's TVET week. We have more persons being trained in different skilled areas. Electrical installation, plumbing, welding, cosmetology, dealing with lashes and, making up, doing hair and also nails. You have those in pastry and baking. Yeah, the education revolution continues to grow. It continues to improve. And you know, even the vice president of the NDP, he recognizes that. And I remember recently he congratulated even persons we knew that go off into different fields. I wanted to listen to Sinclair Leacock.
Honorable Speaker, I continue where the Honorable Minister left off on education. And I just wish to draw attention to the wonderful work that a number of our educators are playing in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Mr. Speaker, between the last Parliament and this one, I had the privilege to attend 3 or 4 graduation exercises. Certainly that of the Girls' High School, St. Vincent Grammar School, and Bishop's College, Kingstown. And I felt very lifted, Mr. Speaker, by the quality of the reports from those schools, but even more so the dedication of the principals, Ms. Bowman, Mr. Jones, Ms. King, and their staff. And when you witness the performance of a lot of our young men and women in their graduation ceremonies, you came away with a certain degree of confidence that we still have a very bright future ahead of us in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. There is a lot of great talent among young people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, which we must continue to nurture.
They are not a priority of this government. All this government is interested in are the figures and pass rates and the grades achieved by students, which they use to prop up the myth of an education revolution.
So you heard the Vice President of the NDP saying that a bright future ahead. He congratulated the many persons in the education sector who are doing well, who are making sure students do well. And then you hear the leader of the opposition not only call the education revolution a myth, but he said all the government is concerned is about grades and pass rate. How else do you measure excellence in education? You have a pass? You have a pass? Eh? Hello? Whether it may be grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. What? But again, there are certain things that make sense to the leader of the opposition, but many of us, I want to read out the comments online. Yes, Philbert, good morning. Yes, former speaker. Yes, Brazilian, new tongue in Brazil. Philbert says, what I can't really understand, even in the wildest dreams or imagination, how in life could anyone in his or her life support put NDP and Godwin Friday in government? Are these persons blind? Are they smoking some mild, debilitating, altering substance? Are those persons politically delusional, hallucinated, and self-destructive? He said, I am absolutely cognizant that they are unfortunately profoundly unpatriotic, ungrateful, dishonest. But the question remains, how could these individuals be championing the cause of putting NDP and the pathetic, visionless, unpatriotic, unprogressive-minded Godwin Friday? Do these persons really think that selling of passports and offering a citizenship by investment economic machinery could foster a real, solid, sustained socioeconomic development of St. Vincent and the Grenadines? Well, thankfully, I believe that with Labour working so hard, with the government delivering and making sure that we continue to repair homes, that we continue to build a modern port, that we continue to build the acute care hospital we recently delivered with the opening of Holiday Inn Express. We continue to build out the National Stadium. We continue to provide scholarships. We continue to provide sound education. That right thinking Vincentians, which I believe are the majority of us, that we will say we have no other choice whatsoever but to return the Unity Labour Party for another term, because Labour is working. And, you know, if Leacock can say that this government did more than what NDP did in such a short space of time, and since then to now we are doing even more, we can't go at Friday and say we're going to go back to what he sees as good old days. Not all. And I'll end with this recording.
Let nobody ignore the fact. There was a time when NDP messed up and had a right to be put out of office. We took people for granted and we were getting stale. But we see what it took NDP so many years to do. It has taken even shorter time for the ULP to achieve.
You hear that? So yeah, the Sunday coming, the 24th, we have our national convention at Camden Park Secondary School. Transportation, of course, is provided for free. And I know many comrades out there listening will turn out solidly in the numbers as they have done the National Council to support the political party that is working for the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Dan, I want to thank you as a technician, giving the support here. Those of you who call in, thank you as well. And those of you who send your messages and comments online. And yes, good morning to you. And again, take care, be blessed, and have a safe and wonderful afternoon.
WEFM, the new fresh sound.